What's up, everybody? My name is Cody Yard, and I am the host of The Buzz with the Fuzz. It's Apple Valley's Police Department podcast. We're going to do some fun stuff with this thing. We're going to do chatting with the chief. We're going to do some Q&As, and we're going to do some longer format podcasts where we sit down with folks from specialty units, and you guys get to learn about who they are and what they do. I got my start in journalism back in 2002 as a combat correspondent in the United States Marine Corps. Really excited to be the host of this podcast here with the police department, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you some new fun facts and information that you might not know about Apple Valley's police department. So stick around, buckle up, and let's have some fun. All right, folks, thanks for joining us again for another podcast episode of Buzz with the Fuzz. My name's Cody. I'm going to be your host again today, and with me is another special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day.
Yep.
My name is Lynn Jesh. I am the president of the Apple Valley Community Crime Prevention Association, or for short, the AVCCPA.
Very cool. Lynn, what is the AVCCPA?
The short answer is I like to consider us kind of a booster club for the police department. We are here to support the police department in funding items or initiatives that are not budgeted for within the current police department budget.
Interesting. So the AVCCPA is a nonprofit, correct?
That is correct. We are a nonprofit organization. We are staffed by volunteers only, rather meagerly staffed at the moment. We've got about 7 people that join us on our monthly meetings and are trying to kind of make our presence known and get more people to join us and contribute to the ideas and the thoughts that we have and kind of be broader reaching throughout the community. Very
cool. So you say 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot for this. I assume this is a big undertaking for you folks then.
It is. So like I said, we support the police department with initiatives that they don't have in their budget. So you guys are getting a new operations center over off of Flagstaff Avenue.
Yes.
And there is a wellness center that is being built into that facility, and that's all budgeted for, but all the equipment that needs to go into that wellness center so that you can actually use it is not necessarily in the budget. So Chief Francis asked us as your booster organization to help fund that. So our task is to raise a mere $42,000 to fund the equipment that he would like to put into that facility to benefit those that work with the police department. So there will be a gym type of facility with all kinds of equipment there. There will be male and female locker rooms with saunas and cold plunge pools. So there's a lot of wellness equipment that is meant for your physical and mental wellness. Working out after a tough shift helps you guys get that adrenaline out of your system, gets you, kind of gets the stress out.
Right.
Which does help your physical fitness, but also, of course, helps your mental wellness as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think there's been a lot of focus being placed on that of late. We as civilians can't possibly conceive of the things that you all see and the toll that takes on your physical and mental wellness. And this kind of equipment is meant to help give you a relief from that. So that's a great both retention and recruiting tool as well for the city of Apple Valley.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about it and dreaming about it for a while now. So we're excited to have that equipment and really see what that looks like in terms of long-term health benefits.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we do have a really great workout on duty program, but it'll also be nice to have that facility there where you come in early, exercise at the end of your shift, but the sauna and the cold plunge I think it's going to be a hit. At least I hope it will be.
Right.
So
how about a locker room in general? I understand y'all don't have anything. So you come in your civilian clothes most of the time, and you don't have a facility for the males or the females to change into your full uniforms, short of going into like a public bathroom here at the city hall, right?
Well, so we do have a locker room here on the police side. There are logistical challenges with that, though, because we can come here, get into uniform, and then drive our personal vehicles out to the garage where we pick up our squads.
Right.
Or we can go there, pick up a squad, and drive it here.
In your civilian clothes.
Yeah, without a uniform, which also, again, it's not far, right? Like it's a mile or, whatever it is. But it's a really interesting place to be.
Right. Hey, did you just see that cop drive by in a Ram? Or, oh, did you just see that civilian driving the cop car?
Yeah,
That's
right.
weird.
Which, if I hope that people do pay attention when they're on the road, right? But we're not always looking at other drivers. What a lot of us actually do, though, is we come in and we just change at the garage.
Right. And that's just not ideal. There's
It's
no
not
privacy there.
Yeah.
It's a garage. Like, who wants to sit and swap out socks or pants on a garage floor? I mean, if you're a mechanic, maybe. But even then, you'd like some, privacy.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the mechanics over at CMF, they've got their locker rooms, which is, like I said, it does pose some logistical challenges. And it's definitely, we have outgrown the current building, right? So this will be nice to have a new facility. And it's really great that you guys are helping us put that equipment in there.
Absolutely.
How do you guys do your fundraisers then? Like,
we are getting our feet wet. So we have a sponsorship program for both businesses and residents where they can make a monetary donation, and there are sponsorship levels based on the amount of money that they donate. And then those folks will get mentioned on our website, on our social media. And for the highest level of sponsors, we're going to either have a big plaque within that wellness center that states who all those sponsors were, or we may do a big sponsor event where we kind of do an unveiling and give them a tour and that sort of thing. That's kind of yet to be determined. We have to kind of work out the logistics around that. But that is the plan. So we've got the sponsorship program. We've got information of that out on our website, which is avccpa.org.
Okay.
We are also participating in different community events where we are, manning a table, under a tent and giving out information. We've recently started talking to Texas Roadhouse about doing a Dine to Donate event. So everybody's heard about those things. You go to a restaurant and you say, hey, I'm here to eat for the AVCCPA.
Sure.
And they take 10% of the ticket for anyone that says that, and then they give that to our organization. So we're looking to do a couple of those because those are free to us. They don't cost us anything. We just have to do the lip service to get people there. So we have got an event with Feed My Starving Children coming up on July 24th, where we're going to participate in their Heroes Week and pack food. And then we'll have a table there and can get the information out. Then we're going to be joining the PD/city when we participate in Night to Unite. So we'll be going out to neighborhoods this year as well. And through that, we can get the word out about our Dine to Donate as well as our sponsorship program.
Okay.
And then, let's see, after that, there's going to be, the music in the park that the Arts Council has been putting on. They're going to have a public safety in the park event on August 16th. So they'll have music, but they'll also have some public safety features, and we're going to be there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like there's another event that's coming up, but right after that is when I'm targeting to have the first Dine to Donate event at Texas Roadhouse on Pilot Knob in Apple Valley.
Yeah. And
we're targeting Sunday, August 16th to do that. And all people need to do is go to Texas Roadhouse on the date, whether it's like a Sunday, they're open for both lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You just go in and say, hey, I'm here to support AVCCPA, and we'll get the benefit of that for however many people we can shove through the door.
Yeah.
So we're looking to do that. And then in September, we've got a couple more events. So are you familiar with CrossFit Templar?
Yeah.
They are having a big thing called Battle in the Valley, and they're making that into kind of almost like a festival type of thing. They're going to have food trucks and vendors and things. So they've offered us to have a table space there. So we're going to go and, again, make known our sponsorship program. And we're hoping to do another Dine to Donate program shortly thereafter as well, in maybe like early October, where we can continue to do that. So it's exciting to get, these opportunities to be out in the public. Again, we've got to get our name out there so people know that the AVCCPA exists. There's a similar organization in Eagan. There's another one in Bloomington. Burnsville just created theirs following the events that took place in February. So there are other similar organizations. We are definitely not the first and we are not the last, but we're also trying to make a unique name for ourselves and, kind of set ourselves up to be a little bit different. Bloomington does a book sale that's highly successful for them. Eagan and Burnsville are doing a golf tournament. Those are highly successful, but we didn't want to do the same thing. So we're also talking with CrossFit about doing a fitness event. So our campaign this year is a wellness campaign for that fitness center.
Yeah.
And we're talking about doing a fitness event up at CrossFit early next year, where we will have teams that sign up to do this kind of competition type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're working on getting the logistics around that ironed out. It'll be early next year. Just because of the time of year that it is, and they have a huge event, like I mentioned, the end of September. We didn't want to kind of throw it in there, and then after that, guess what? Holidays are right around the corner.
Right. Yeah. And so is cold weather.
It sure is.
With any luck, I guess, because last year we didn't really, we lucked out.
Too true.
CrossFit Templar, that's right off of Felton Court.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they do have a very nice gym space in there, but I couldn't imagine packing that with people and then the heat and then going in and out. The indoors, outdoors thing would be challenging.
Yeah. So we're targeting early spring where we can open the doors, get some fresh air in there. So we're probably looking right around the first week of May. To put this event together, and we'll be publishing that, and maybe I can come back and talk about that down the road.
Great. Yeah.
But so I've focused a lot on the sponsorship opportunities that we have specific to this wellness campaign, and they are fixed dollar amounts. But, donations aren't necessarily just sponsorships. Donations in any dollar amount will help us reach our goal. It's a lofty goal, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But, any donation is appreciated, and we are recognizing people that donate on our website, on our social media, so that people will get that recognition. It is tax deductible. So out on our website, we've got a Venmo code. We've also got a place you can mail a check. So you don't necessarily have to make a sponsorship commitment to be able to donate money. But if money is not an option, time is something that people can donate as well.
Totally.
So again, we've only got 7 people that are actively participating. We've got 3 formal positions filled on the board. Myself as the president, we've got a treasurer and a secretary. But we have other positions that could be filled, as well as people that are great at social media. We'd love somebody that could pick that up. I'm not great at marketing. I don't think of all the creative things and the website. We could really use somebody that wants to just kind of own our website. And I don't have the skill to do it, but I'm kind of bumbling along, just kind of out of necessity. But we would love for, people to come in and say, hey, I love doing web stuff. Let me come in and revamp your website. Be your webmaster. That'd be fantastic. So, money is not necessarily the only thing that we're seeking. But we want to get the community involved. We want businesses to be involved. We don't want to just represent our little tiny perspective that we have in our group of 7. We want to get much broader in terms of the feedback and the input we get on the activities that we do and the way we approach things.
Well, that's just, you guys get the benefit of like the feedback on your events, but then having the community involved.
Exactly.
And having people have a place where they can come and voice things. Right. And then, of course, you guys come back to the chief and say, hey, we found a hole here that we think needs to be addressed. We'd love to help fundraise to address that need. Right. And it's just a great opportunity for people to actually have a voice and be heard. You guys can be a conduit from the public to the police department as well.
Absolutely.
And so it's just kind of a unique opportunity and position to be in.
It is.
How did you get to be the president?
I volunteered.
Okay. You just said, I'll do it.
Well, we started meeting about a year ago. This organization actually dates back to 2020, which was at the beginning of the pandemic, worst possible time to try to launch something like this. So we started meeting last year, and there were like 3 of us, including Pam Walter, who is a police department employee.
Yes.
And Pam was just trying to kind of get this off the ground on her own because she was charged with that as part of her job. And I had actually reached out to the chief, and I consider myself blue family. So my son is a sheriff's deputy up in Hennepin County. And while I don't live in Hennepin County, I support him in any way I can, but I also want the rest of the policing community to know that y'all are somebody's sons, daughters, and that kind of thing. And it means a lot to me that people recognize that. I go to a lot of Twins games, I go to a lot of Wild games, and I talk to the people in uniform. And people look at me kind of weird, and I'm like, why can't I talk to them? They're humans, and people just don't necessarily really think about that when they see the uniform.
No.
And
it's intimidating.
It
right?
can be. It can be.
We have, countless interactions with people a year, right? And sometimes those interactions are really good and have a lasting impression on the positive side. And then some of those interactions can be more adverse and don't leave that good impression,
right?
But more of punitive or, just an adverse impression, right? And one of the things that's the hardest thing to communicate with people when we're out doing our jobs is, this may sound silly, but like, I get to wear one of the coolest Halloween costumes, right? Because like every little boy wants to be a cop and wear a cop costume for Halloween, right? And I put that on every single day and I wear it to work. And when I put it on, it's a serious event. Right? Like I take my job extremely seriously, but communicating to people that I'm still just Cody underneath the uniform.
Right.
It doesn't matter what situation we're in. I'm always still just Cody.
Right.
I just happen to know what I'm wearing for work every day.
Right.
I don't have to get up and wonder, like,
what tie should I put on today?
Correct. Yeah.
What color scheme do I want to?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always blue. Well, in your case, you guys are black, aren't you?
Oh, we're like a dark
super
midnight
dark
navy
blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So that's why I got involved in this, was just to, like I said, I reached out to Chief Francis. I said, hey, how can I let our police department know that I value what they do every day? And he's like, talk to Pam, get involved. I'm like, absolutely. I needed something to invest my time in. I have a lot of passion around the humanity of the police.
Yeah.
And this was just a way for me to kind of get involved. And as we were meeting, we needed to establish kind of the quorum of who the board was.
Right.
So we took the 3 mandatory positions that had to exist in order for this to be a formal 501c3, as written in our document. And so one gal said, I'll be the secretary. Secretary. One said, I'll be the treasurer. I'm like, all right, well, we need a president, so that'll be me. That's just kind of the way it happened.
Okay.
And so from the folks, I didn't even think about it to give their names out, but they are on our website. So Susan is our secretary, Susan Satina, and Christy Martin is our treasurer.
Okay.
And Christy was involved in Egan's Community Crime Prevention Association as well. So she's great in terms of knowing kind of what Egan has done. And again, it's not about the event itself, but how do we get off the ground?
Right.
How do we reach out to people and businesses? And, we obviously are investing our time, but we can't fund the $42,000 we need to put that equipment in there. So we need people's generosity to help us meet that goal.
Yeah, and I would also venture to say that we have a ton of silent support, right? And contrary to what the media would want you to believe, is that, defund the police, that whole movement, that was a small portion of the population that believed in that.
Small but vocal.
Yeah, but they were the loudest.
Yes.
And so we hear it as well. Right. And we're probably hyper focused when things like that start to make its way into the news streams. Right. It's not a really good feeling when that's the focus. But if those silent supporters out there that, again, aren't always comfortable coming up and saying thank you or voicing their support as loudly as others, donations are a great way to do that.
Absolutely.
Whatever that looks like for those folks. As a police department, we know that the community here supports us. And that's a really good feeling to have, because we know that if, God forbid, we have a big critical incident here, we know our community is going to stand by us. And it's not what we've seen in the past in terms of reactions in other communities.
Right. And I think the Burnsville incident definitely, it's so close to home, and the tide definitely changed as a result of that. I happened to go to the K9 demonstration as part of PANA Prague yesterday. And was shocked at how many people were there. I figured, you'd get a couple dozen. Yeah. There were hundreds of people there. Hundreds.
I've had my K9 now for 4 years, so I was out there yesterday.
Oh, you were there yesterday? I
Yeah.
didn't realize. You must have Virgil then, huh?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
He was the one out there barking a lot and wouldn't be quiet.
It was so
Okay,
funny.
you don't have to rub it in, okay?
No,
This
it
is
was
something
great. He was excited. He was very excited to perform.
He is. He always is. And so I walk off of that field all the time going, gosh, my dog is such a nutcase. But nobody ever knows. They always just look at it like, oh, look at him. He's so excited to work. And I'm out there going, oh,
you're embarrassing me, son.
Well, because Chad from Lakeville was saying, like, and here we have Officer Yard with K9 Virgil. And I didn't hear it at first because I was bent over petting Virgil going, good, be quiet. Yeah. And he's out there just, like, oh, no.
That's so funny.
So, well, and you're familiar with Moose and Alex. Why are you familiar with Moose?
Because I was here for an event the night Moose got his vest. So
Okay.
I don't remember if there was like the Christmas, was that around Christmas time? Whatever it was, it had to have been, because he was here with Moose and the city council meeting was meeting right after the Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
Sure.
And my husband plays in the brass ensemble that was here providing the music for that. And so I was just enamored with his beauty. He's a gorgeous dog.
Yes, he
and,
is.
you know, he was very young at the time. And Alex had him hop on that half wall up in the vestibule up there. And I was like, all right, I got to take his picture. So, you know, I've got a really cool picture of the two of them right before Moose got his vest.
Okay.
It was either his vest or it was his swearing in, one or the other. I can't remember which one it was.
You know what I think it was? I think it was the swearing in.
It could have been. It could have been.
They actually, you know, they give you the little, one other thing that about Moose, Red's Chop Shop donated the $10,000.
Right. Yep. They did a huge fundraiser for that.
And they donated through the AVCCPA for that.
Yep. That is kind of what I think got this organization started, is that they needed a way to make funds available directly to the police department. And that's how this kind of came about.
Well, so that's the cool part about this. If somebody reaches out on the website or reaches out through social media, however, and they say, hey, I want to donate X number of dollars to this specific program, are you guys able to separate those funds or earmark them?
Right now, we really only have the one program. But if somebody were to come to us and say, hey, I want to buy the police department a really cool drone. I'm super big into drones. Can I give you, you know, $5,000 or whatever to buy a really cool drone?
Yeah.
I guess I would just go to the chief and say, do you want a drone?
Okay.
You know, like, we've got someone in the community that wants to give you the money to buy a really cool drone. Do you want that? And, you know, I mean, I don't want to accept money that people want earmarked for a thing and then not fulfill on that. So I think we haven't run into that yet. I would love to. I would love to run into somebody to come to us and say, I want to do this. It'd be a really fantastic problem to have. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. But I mean, if somebody had an idea and wanted to fund it, then that would be something I would absolutely love to talk to Chief Francis and, you know, get his interest in it and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we need, this additional community, you know, brain trust to help us with, is give us ideas. Everybody has different knowledge, exposure, you know, ideas, creativity. What can we do? And, you know, we need different age groups. We need different ethnicities. We need different backgrounds. And just to get that brain trust really boiling and give us great ideas and help us really take action and make things happen, movers and shakers.
Yeah. What's the time commitment that you find yourself giving in terms of the program?
Right now, I'm kind of putting a lot of time and effort into it because I'm trying to learn web development and things like that, trying to find ways to get events happening. We only meet about once a month, and we try to limit it to about an hour.
Sure.
Susan, our secretary, probably puts in a little more time than just an hour because she does our meeting minutes and agendas and that sort of thing. And Christy, you know, she's our treasurer, so she's doing those things too. But just board members. Yeah. You know, we had one gentleman Have you seen the bumper stickers, the Thank a Cop bumper stickers?
Mm-hmm.
So we had one gentleman on our board, Rick, who went and got those donated for us. And so,
cool.
We had a graphic designer that donated his time to help design that. And then we sent it over to Print Lab. They printed them for us. So that was something that Rick put a little more time and effort into. But, you can put as much time into it as you want. But right now, I would say the minimum time commitment for a person participating as just a board member at large would probably be about an hour a month. That's really it. Now, if somebody comes and says, hey, I love going out and selling. I love to go out and go to talk to businesses and drum up some of those business sponsorships. And I'm retired. I'd love to do this as my part-time volunteer job. Let me go out and hit the pavement for a couple of weeks. That would be more than stellar.
Sure.
I work a full-time job, so I'm doing whatever I get to do on my spare time. And I'm not as comfortable. Obviously, I'm not uncomfortable talking to you.
Right.
But going in and asking people for money is challenging for me.
I think that's challenging for anybody.
Some people love it. Some people love it. I really struggle with it. I'm kind of that hem and haw person looking down going, so would you like to give us some money?
Right.
But you don't get it if you don't ask. And, a lot of the businesses have needs of making charitable donations for tax purposes.
Right.
So for businesses that do want to do that, we can absolutely provide our tax ID number. We can give a letter for receipt acknowledging that we've gotten their donation or their sponsorship, things like that. So, but your question was time commitment.
Yeah.
It's really up to the individual. We do not demand any certain amount of time. It's just what fuels your passion and what time do you want to invest in it?
Right. That could be a big scare factor for folks, right? The time commitment is, I've already got these different commitments going, and can I take on more?
Right.
And so it's good to know that it's an hour a month or whatever you can make work.
Right.
And that's huge because people don't know what that looks like.
Right. No, that was a great question.
Then they could be apprehensive to even inquire.
Yes.
So if somebody were to come to you and say, hey, I'm really interested in being a part of this, but I'm nervous about the time commitment. I got to imagine that's a very hard question too, because they might feel like there's a perception of judgment coming from the other side of the table where, you're like, oh yeah, totally cool. So it's just 30 hours a month. And,
and then they just kind of run.
And then they go, this is way more but an hour a month, that is completely different.
Yeah.
I know that I'm guilty of packing my schedule as full as possible with doing the police gig and then doing my own side business and everything else that, I like to smash 25 hours in a day every chance I get. But I can always find an hour.
Right.
Right.
Right. And two, so I mentioned several events that we're going to be at, staffing a table. Those are limited time events as well. And if nothing else, if nobody else volunteers to staff those tables, I know that once I've made that commitment, that's on me.
Yeah.
So if nobody else can make it, I'll be there. But some people love that. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
I don't love to do those things, but I can do them. But there are some people that thrive on that. Yes, let me get behind a table and let me share what information I have. So for people that love to promote and love to talk to people. And so that's a great outlet for people, especially for people that still work from home and they have limited interaction with people live. Yeah. We do live meetings. We also have a Zoom option, but we typically meet upstairs in the conference room on the second floor here. Okay. And, we do these events and you get to interact with the community. We did the Watchdog Walkers event back on the 13th of June or something like that out at Kelly Park. That was fun. There were all kinds of dogs around. So we got to see some really cool breeds of dog, got to introduce ourselves to people in the community. So for people that are looking for an outlet to get involved in the community, meet people, we've kind of rubbed noses with the city council a little bit and the commission because we went to the groundbreaking of the new facility at 14325 Flagstaff.
Okay.
So, the mayor was there and the county commissioner was there and all that stuff. So, you can get to meet some new people too. And, getting to talk with Chief Francis every once in a while is pretty cool. And,
well, and, this is also a great opportunity for people who want to affect change.
Yes.
again, because like you just said, you get an opportunity to talk with the chief, right? You get a chance to meet with the mayor, and you get their ear.
Right.
And so you do actually have an opportunity to affect change if that's something you really are passionate about.
Right.
You know, for better or worse, I guess.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because before you know it, we could go with like these French blue tops and dark navy pants and our uniforms.
You don't want to look like that.
No,
Yeah,
definitely not.
You're good with the dark.
We're good with dark navy everywhere. I like that uniform. It shows all the dog slobber immediately. I swear, I put that uniform on and I look dirty. 10 minutes into my first shift with it on.
Well, they don't pick non-shedding dogs for this position.
Correct.
At least it's not like a boxer or something that truly slobbers a lot, but they pant in their excitement, and that just makes them slobber too. So, but you got a really cool partner.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he's a ton of fun. So
Yeah.
I like the opportunity to drive around with him in the back seat if he'd just stop whining.
He whines because he wants to get out and
I have no idea.
work. Yeah?
Yeah, he's in the back just whining. I have done the dog walker event before.
Have you?
Yeah, the first 2 years that I had Burge, Pam asked me to be there. And I said, sure, no problem. And then we got there, and there were so many dogs. And that's exactly why I can't get him out. Like, it'd be cool and to let him meet people and stuff like that, or they can see him. And unfortunately, there's just too much potential for risk of injury or dog fight or something like that to do those things. So although I am like you, I'm an introvert. I've figured this out. Like, I'm an extrovert facade.
Yes. There you go. There
Right?
you go. You can put on the show.
Yeah.
But then you need your downtime to kind of regenerate. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. My other passion is photography. So like engagement photos.
Oh,
I've done a
okay.
couple of weddings. I did some senior photos. Well, tomorrow, and maybe this is something that we should get you guys involved in. Heroes on the Hill is an event that's happening in September.
Okay.
It'd be really great to have you guys out there and have a table. It's at Buck Hill.
Oh, okay.
And it is a 12-hour event where we're going to have teams. There's a South Metro SWAT team that's going to be out there, but there's 6 teams, and it's at least 2 people from the team have to be moving and hiking the hill. It's an endurance event. It's 12 hours.
That sounds.
And so I've done a couple of training sessions out there, and 3 laps. It takes about an hour, so each lap is a mile. And so depending on how fast and how hard you want to run your laps, you can probably squeeze in 4, but there's some grueling stretches of uphill.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
And I think they did it this way. I think they did it this way just to make it grueling. Because you could go the other way and it would be
much easier.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't done it backwards yet. But so
interesting.
Yeah. So Heroes on the Hill. It's a great opportunity for people to come out, support law enforcement. There's going to be first responders. There's going to be 1 team of civilians out there. I think there are either current or former Navy SEALs that's going to be a part of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big deal, but that's in September. HeroesOnTheHill.com is the website for that.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, and so we'd love to have you guys out there. I'm saying I'm a part of the board or part of their leadership team, but I am not. I'm just a mere participant. So.
Right. I'll look into that. I'll reach out.
And there's only 6 teams. So we're keeping the event small.
Okay.
In order to build camaraderie. Like, this is a bonding thing for everybody involved. Because, again, yes, there's 6 people on your team, but 2 people have to be moving on the hill at all times.
Right. So it's kind of a relay.
Can be.
Kind of.
Yeah. However you want to do it with your team is, you just have to come up with that idea and game plan.
That sounds grueling.
And some people have said, well, it's 12 hours and I can do 3 laps, so I should get in 36 laps.
Has this been done before?
No, this is the
first inaugural season. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
They want it to kind of be a big party as well.
Sounds kind of the approach that CrossFit is doing with their Battle in the Valley.
Yeah.
And what we're hoping to do there with our event. I think what we're going to do with that is a marathon row, which would be, again, a team event.
Yeah.
And I think it's 42,000 meters.
Cool.
So so I think that's what we're kind of leaning toward, is to do like a
man.
marathon row as our fundraiser.
That sounds miserable.
I don't know, your hill thing sounds kind of rough to me.
Yeah,
but it's a team thing.
Yes.
The marathon is a team thing too.
Yeah.
So, I think he said you row 12 minutes out of every 20 or something like that, or you get like 8 minutes off or whatever. And I mean, if you wanted to do it all by yourself, you could, but you could like the PD could have a whole team of 12 people.
Sure.
And, however many that is, or we'd have two teams and they could compete against one another or whatever. And
that sounds fun.
Yeah. So we're going to have to.
Maybe it does sound fun.
When we get more logistics around that, we'll have to maybe have a meeting with the PD and see if we can.
Yeah, we should try to put together a team.
Get some teams.
Yeah. Lynn, is there anything else that you wanted to cover or talk about today that you think we've missed on? Is there an opportunity?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it. I mean, we've covered sponsorships. We've covered just donations. We've covered time. Mm-hmm. We've covered just kind of community knowledge, education, and saturation, getting our name out there. We've got a website, AVCCPA.org. We've got a Facebook presence as well. Okay. That is, if you just search AVCCPA on Facebook, that's where you'll find that.
Okay.
It's really just a community awareness. We need to make sure people know we're here and why we're here and how we're trying to support our very valuable police department and the great resources that we do have. And you're right. I mean, we've got good support in this community. And some people don't necessarily want to put a sign in their yard or put up the blue line flag or put a bumper sticker on their car, but they still want to make it known to themselves and invest themselves in supporting the police department. And the AVCCPA would be more than happy to help facilitate that financial contribution to better our facilities here. So I hope to see an uptick in our membership on the Facebook page, and would love to hear some people reach out through email, and info@avccpa.org is our email.
Okay.
And we would just be so happy to entertain some more folks getting involved. And again, if we've got web folks out there that want to have fun doing a website, or social media master that is into that, we'd love that too. I do my best, but you know what? My best is just mediocre. So on those endeavors, but it would be really great to get some people that are skilled at that stuff. So I think we've covered it all.
Great.
Watch our site, join us for our events. And when we get that Dine to Donate thing going, tell all your friends and family, and come out to Texas Roadhouse and make sure you tell them the AVCCPA sent you.
Yes.
So.
Yes, that's the important piece.
That is the important piece. Don't go and not say it.
Right. Okay, so I've got one last question for you, and I do this with all my guests, and it's not related to what we've been talking about. You said you're an avid reader.
I am.
Okay. And I saw you were using some sort of like Kindle, or when I caught you in the lobby there.
Yep.
With the advent of technology now, do you prefer your Kindle over hard copies, or do you still want to pick up a physical book?
I really want to read a physical book.
Yeah.
But the Kindle allows me to have a ton of books stored on there. Mm-hmm. It allows me to read at night or early in the morning when my husband is still snoring next to me and I'm wide awake, and I don't have to turn on a light or get out my glasses, because I'm getting older. The eyes don't work so well, so the tiny print means I have to have glasses. But with my Kindle, I can make it bigger and I can see it in the dark. So I really prefer paper books. But, if I finish a book in the middle of the night, I can just close that one and open up another one. I don't have to get up and find the next book. It's right there in my Kindle. So it's a challenge. I can't get my son to get on board. He's just avid. I've got to have a paper book to turn the pages. And I'm like, well, you still got to flick it on the screen. It's not just blink and it changes. So my preference, if I were still young and could read without glasses, I'd still read a book. But with the aging eyes and the late nights that I sit up reading, or the early mornings that I'm laying in bed for 2 hours before my husband gets up, the electronic option gives me a lot of time to read.
Yes. Okay. Well, great.
How about you?
I will read on my phone through Kindle. I do like the smell of books.
Yes.
Well, Lynn, thank you very much for coming on today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm glad we finally got together to sit down and chat. So.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Hope to come back sometime with some other information to impart to your audience.
Yeah, so we'll come back and talk about that we've raised the $42,000 fairly quickly, and we need to start a new campaign for something else.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Hey folks, we want this to be engaging for you as well, so please drop a comment wherever you follow us on social media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this podcast. Tell your friends, tell your family. We'd like to get this out to as many people as possible. We want people to know who the police officers of Apple Valley are. If you have questions or comments, something you'd like to hear about, reach out to us. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to address some of those topics that you guys have questions about as well. We look forward to having you back next time.